One of the most common things that you hear from coaches is the importance of following through properly. So when you watch tennis lessons, you get coaches screaming at players, telling them to follow through. And sometimes they talk about finishing down there. A lot of the time, coaches are still talking about following through and finishing over the shoulder, things like that. But when this happens, it never really changes anything. It doesn't cause players to improve the quality of the stroke. You get this situation where players are finishing their shot artificially. So they'll hit one type of shot and then they'll finish like this, or they'll finish over here because that's what the coach told them to do. When you don't follow through properly, it means something. There's an underlying problem. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. Hopefully you find it helpful. If you do, give me the thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel before, it's really appreciated if you could do that as well. So the reason that players don't follow through properly isn't because they don't understand the importance of following through. It's because they're having problems with their timing. Now, to fully understand timing, there's kind of two parts to it. There's when you start your swing. That's going to be really important. And then there's the sequencing and the use of your kinetic chain. So you have to start your swing at the right time relative to the ball that you're dealing with, so that hopefully you can make contact somewhere out in front of you if you're hitting a topspin forehand. Can't always happen because sometimes your opponent just hits an amazing shot and you have to do what you have to do. But most of the time it is possible to be in position and to make contact with the ball out in front of the body. So the other part of timing is going to be the sequencing of the kinetic chain, driving through your hip, then your torso, then your arm, and your racket is going to come through. And then the follow through is just a natural progression. If I swing, make contact, just as a natural deceleration, my arm comes through. Depending on the swing you use, maybe the follow through looks like that. Maybe it goes up there. Maybe it finishes up there. But it's just a natural product of the swing path. When players don't follow through, what it means is they're starting their swing late, so they're not starting their swing soon enough, and they're not using their kinetic chain properly. So the ball gets too close to them, and now instead of hitting through and meeting the ball out there and the arm just following through, now it's too late. Players realize it and they have to arm the ball, and because they're arming the ball, it doesn't follow through properly. So the underlying problem is to do with timing. So that's what you need to fix if you want to fix your follow through. So then how do you fix your timing? And really that's the million-dollar question, because timing is the hardest thing in tennis. It's what separates the levels of players. All the best players have amazing timing. All the players that struggle to hit with power and control and accuracy and do all the things they want to do, it's because their timing isn't good enough. But it's tricky because every single shot you play is completely different. In order to have good timing, firstly, you have to be able to read where the ball's going. You have to set up in the right position in time to hit your shot. And then you have to be able to judge how far the ball is away and how fast the ball's traveling to be able to start your swing at the right time. And then you have to have the coordination to sequence your body and use your kinetic chain effectively. And that makes timing very hard to change and improve. One of the first things that you'll need to do if you want better timing is to improve how your visual system functions, so that you can track the ball, so that you can read where it's going, and so that you can start your swing at the right time. To help you with that, I've got a free Tennis Vision starter program. I'll place a link to it up there, and I'll place a link to it down in the description so that you can start working on it. What goes along with that is going to be the coordination side of things. Most players aren't as coordinated as they need to be able to make all of these adjustments. To help you with that side of things, it's not something that I can do in a quick video, so I've got a full masterclass that's going to teach you all about how you can use brain-based training to improve your coordination. Again, I'll place a link to that up there, and I'll place a link to that down in the description. Because what I want to do now is kind of talk about how to think about improving your timing, because there is obviously an on-court component to it. It's just that the on-court component only works as well as your vision and your coordination works. But what you effectively have to do is think about the shot that you're playing. So for every shot that you're going to need to play, you have to start your swing at the right time. Sometimes you're going to have to start your swing before the ball bounces. So if it's coming low and hard, you'll have to start your swing before the ball bounces in order to use your kinetic chain and meet the ball out in front. If it's a higher floating ball and you're going to allow the ball to drop, sometimes the ball will have bounced and then you'll need to start your swing and then make contact with the ball. So when you start your swing, relative to the flight and the bounce of the ball changes on every shot. The thing that I've found most effective for me for fixing this problem is using a ball machine. Now, I'm naturally a right-handed player, but I've had to relearn to play left-handed because I injured my shoulder in a mountain bike crash. So when I was learning to play left-handed, what I did was feed different balls. So I would feed hard flat balls, and I would try and get the timing and make contact, and I would get it wrong a lot of the time, but then I would get it right some of the time. But I would actually think about the flight of the ball. Okay, you know, what's that ball doing? When's it bouncing? When do I need to start my swing? And I would just do it over and over again with that ball until I could get the timing. And you have to be prepared to make mistakes. You have to consciously think about it. So I did that with low flat balls, then I did it with higher balls, then I put different types of spin on the ball machine and did it with different types of spin so that my brain could build up a memory bank of the flight of the ball. And it's like, okay, if the ball is doing this, what does that mean? When do I have to start my swing? If it's doing this, what does that mean? When do I have to start my swing? And really consciously thinking through it and practicing it like that was the way that I was able to develop a pretty solid looking forehand with my left hand, and I've got pretty good timing because of it. So that's what I'm going to recommend that you do if you don't have access to a ball machine. If you can get a practice partner to feed you balls, but honestly, ball machines are one of the best ways to make this happen. So that is how you actually fix your follow through. It's not simply a case of just doing this and following through. There's stuff that comes before it. If you really want to fix your follow through and develop a nice looking forehand, it's all about the timing side of things. Hopefully that makes sense. If it did, give me that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, it's much appreciated if you could do that as well. If you've got any questions or comments or thoughts about what I've covered here, leave them down in the comments section, and I'll catch you next time.